We had always had an uneasy feeling walking through hospitals and looking through the open doors. And walking through the Canmore Hospital was no different. Gary and I retired to Canmore 7 years ago to be near the Rockies and planned on living the rest of our lives here. That ended up being a little shorter than expected. Gary went to the hospital for a scan after a couple of weeks of trying different medications. Because of COVID, I had to wait in the car until eventually a doctor came to get me and let me into the ER. There, we learned that Gary had cancer and we'd be taken by ambulance to Calgary. I was assured that I would be able to go into the hospital with him. A few hours later, I was begging someone behind a big table to let me in to see Gary, but it wasn't going to happen. We felt like babies in the healthcare system. We didn't know what to do or who to talk to. The next few months, with the operation, pathology report, cancer staging, tests, and appointments, were a blur. Finally, the oncologist was able to tell us the straight goods. Gary probably had less than a year to live, and then he presented the treatment options and their side effects. Afterwards, we went for dinner, and sitting at the table, we decided to focus on quality of life, enjoying ourselves and the time he had left. I can't remember how we got to Fiona, the cancer nurse navigator at the Canmore Hospital, but looking back, it was our lucky day. We told her our decision to not do chemo, and she said, "I reviewed your chart and Gary would likely benefit from treatment. You could always just try it for a while and see how things go." As the conversation continued about the side effects of chemo and our desire to focus on quality of life, one sentence she said stuck out to me. "Cindy, look at the side of the Tylenol bottle. Every treatment comes with potential side effects." That day, she totally changed our minds, and Gary started treatment. 3 years later, we were meeting with Fiona again after Gary's most recent chemo. We had lived those years to the fullest. Gary had even enjoyed his bi-weekly visits to the hospital for chemo. He would shave and get all dressed up. He loved how everyone made a fuss. But the last couple of treatments had been really hard on him. Fiona said, "You know, I saw you two walking in the sun at the bike race a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that's how I feel you should be living your life now. I think it's time to stop chemo. I can't believe that 3 years ago I begged you to start chemo, and now I'm asking you to stop." We trusted her so much, we knew she was right, but it was still a bittersweet decision. After Gary passed away, I got a phone call from Fiona and everyone who treated Gary at the Canmore Hospital. They all wanted to check in on me and talk about Gary. Now, walking past the chemo chair doesn't strike fear in my heart. I feel warmth. I feel truly cared for, and I consider them friends. I promise you that Gary did too.